Surprisingly, this approach worked well for her. However, in some cases, it's not necessary to resort to ultimatums. For my abusive father, I chose to simply cut ties. It's now been 5 years since we last spoke or saw each other. Interestingly, since cutting ties with my father, a positive change has occurred in my mother's behavior as well. 5 years ago, she started attending therapy sessions, which helped her develop empathy for others. Fortunately, my parents are no longer together, which might have made it more challenging to navigate our family dynamics. AITA for returning a book the day I got it? So I checked out a book at the library and then finished it while I was eating lunch. I proceeded to go up to the library and return it, and the librarian got extremely angry with me for wasting her time and that if I didn't want the... Was I the jerk for rushing back to the library? I visited my local library, picked up a book, and completed it over lunch. I then headed to the library to return it. However, the librarian became visibly upset, stating that I was wasting her time and that if I didn't want the book, I shouldn't have checked it out in the first place. I often struggle with feelings of inadequacy, particularly regarding people's opinions of me. So, I'm seeking feedback from the 5 people who will read this. Was I the one in the wrong, and did I truly waste her time? Edit. Thank you for the puns, they are very humorous. I don't exist, it is like I don't exist. I send messages and I make comments and receive nothing back. It makes me sad. It makes me realize that I am nothing. I truly am an island. Fuck all. Edit. I want to thank everyone that posted replies, gave awards, sent me messages. The silence is deafening. I'm invisible, a ghost floating through the digital world. Every message I send, every comment I make, falls on deaf ears. It's a lonely existence, and the emptiness is suffocating. It's a harsh reality that I've become a solitary figure, disconnected from the world around me. The isolation is overwhelming, and it's hard to shake off the feeling of insignificance. I'm just a faint whisper in the wind, a mere echo of a presence that's barely there. The pain is real, and it's hard to bear. But then, something unexpected happens. People start to notice me, to see me, to hear me. Replies start pouring in, awards are given, and messages flood my inbox. It's a tidal wave of kindness and compassion, and it's overwhelming in the best possible way. Edit. To everyone who took the time to reach out, to every kind soul who gave me a thought, and to every generous heart who gave me an award or a message, I want to say thank you. Your words have brought me back from the brink, and I'm trying to catch up with all of them. As a retail manager, my hours are chaotic, but I'm committed to getting Mill is acting like our engagement, wedding planning is a funeral. Says black would be appropriate because it's the end of an era. As if her 30-year-old son is suddenly being snatched from her arms. Other than that, she refuses to talk about the wedding and told us that we will. Our mother's reaction to our engagement and upcoming wedding has been disheartening. She's treating it like a somber occasion, suggesting that black would be a suitable color scheme due to it representing the end of an era. This interpretation is somewhat baffling, given that it's her 30-year-old son who's about to start this new chapter in his life. Her reluctance to discuss the wedding details has been frustrating, and she's made it clear that we'll have to forego our Christmas plans due to the January 19th date. Her demeanor has been a mix of sadness and apprehension, as if she's watching her son slip away from her grasp. It's essential for me to maintain a level head and not internalize these comments, especially since I'm sensitive by nature. Her words, implying that I'm not capable of caring for her grandchild, have been hurtful and difficult to process. I just got away from my NMOM, and am spending my first night in a homeless youth shelter. I'm nervous but also relieved. I'm scared but comfortable. I've been planning this escape for months, and was immediately embraced as soon as I came in. This is the largest step as I finally break free from the confines of my past, I'm finding myself in an unfamiliar yet somewhat comforting environment, a homeless youth shelter. My emotions are a tangled web of anxiety and gratitude, with a dash of uncertainty. The weight of months' worth of planning has finally lifted, and I've been met with open arms by the shelter's staff. This is more than just a bold move, it's a declaration of independence. For the first time in my life, I have the power to shape my own destiny. The toxic cycle of mental and emotional abuse that once held me captive is behind me. I'm starting anew, and the sense of liberation is overwhelming. I'm not yet ready to put into words the emotions swirling inside me, but I felt the need to share this moment with someone, anyone who might understand the depth of my feelings. I'm stopping treatment, I'm just prolonging the inevitable. I've got no family and I've only ever had one friend, 40 years ago. I don't really know if anyone reads these. I had a decent life. I'm incredibly shy and have no one to speak to, so I'm writing it here. It's time for me to accept reality and end my treatment. I've been delaying the inevitable, and I'm running out of options. I've led a solitary life, devoid of close family ties and friendships. The only person who knew me 40 years ago is a distant memory. I'm not sure if anyone will ever read these words. Despite this isolation, I've managed to live a relatively decent life. My shyness has been a constant companion, leaving me with few people to share my thoughts with. So, I write here in the hopes that someone might stumble upon this message. If that's the case, I want them to know that James, Jimbo, Thomas Sullivan gave it his all, striving to be a good person. I'm a small-town man from the Midwest, with a pale complexion and a story to tell. As my illness progresses, I've come to realize that the constant visits to the doctor's office have taken a toll on my physical and financial well-being. I'm exhausted, both in body and spirit. I'm not consumed by sadness or joy, I'm simply tired of the struggle. Fuck depression. 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 Fuck D. Depression is a destructive force that needs to be overcome. Depression is a destructive force that needs to be overcome. Depression is a destructive force that needs to be overcome. Depression is a destructive force that needs to be overcome. Depression is a destructive force that needs to be overcome. Depression is a destructive force that needs to be overcome. Depression is a destructive force that needs to be overcome. Depression is a destructive force that needs to be overcome. Depression is a destructive force that needs to be overcome. Depression is a destructive force that needs to be overcome. Depression is a destructive force that needs to be overcome. Depression is a destructive force that needs to be overcome. Depression is a destructive force that needs to be overcome. Depression is a destructive force that needs to be overcome. Depression is a destructive force that needs to be overcome. Depression is a destructive force that needs to be overcome. Depression is a destructive force that needs to be overcome. Depression is a destructive force that needs to be overcome. Thanks for listening. Edit. I wanted to extend my gratitude to all of you for your support, which inspired me to take action. I recently reached out to a family in need and offered to cover their grocery expenses. I hope my gesture brings some comfort and reminds everyone that I hope you have a daughter just like you. We all know the tone. And on paper it seems completely innocent. But with their voice, their eyes, that look, their indignation, and their venom, it is anything but. Turns out I do have a daughter just like me. She is wonderful, and the mother-daughter dynamic is something I've witnessed before. There's a phrase that people often use, seemingly without a second thought. You have a daughter just like you, can appear on the surface to be a heartwarming sentiment. However, the context, the tone, and the undertones convey a far more complex message. As it happens, I do have a daughter who bears a striking resemblance to me. She is an incredible individual, bringing immense joy to my life. Edit. I'm overwhelmed by the number of replies and the shared stories from others who have experienced similar situations. Although I won't be able to respond, I appreciate the community's willingness to share and support one another. Thank you to the moderators and users for creating a platform where people can connect. I don't know if I can trust my best friend anymore. My 24F boyfriend, 27M, goes down on me whenever I ask him to. He really enjoys eating me out and does it quite well. He asked me for a blowjob but I said no. This was last week. He hasn't asked a second time. I mentioned it. I've been questioning the loyalty of my closest companion lately. My partner and I have a comfortable dynamic. Whenever I desire oral stimulation, he happily obliges and is quite skilled at it. However, when I recently declined his request for a blowjob, he respected my decision and hasn't brought it up again. I shared my concerns with my best friend a few days ago, and yesterday my partner informed me that she paid him a visit at his residence. Apparently, she proposed performing oral sex on him every day if he were to leave me for her. After confronting her about the situation, she claimed that her offer was in jest. I remain uncertain about her intentions and sincerity, and this has left me feeling quite unsettled. Edit. To better understand this situation, it might be helpful to analyze the motivations behind your best friend's actions. Are there any underlying issues in your relationship that could be contributing to her behavior? Update. It's essential to communicate openly and honestly with your partner and friend to resolve any misunderstandings and rebuild trust. This may involve having a calm and rational conversation with your best friend to clarify her intentions and reassure her of your commitment to the friendship. TLDR. A friend's actions have raised trust issues in a relationship, and the AITA for telling my son's teacher that it was fine for him to have his cat in the video he submitted for choir class. My son is 14M. He has a cat that he's very proud of. He feeds her, scoops her litter box, and takes care of her in every way. He had to submit a video of hi. Was I in the wrong for defending my teenage son when his choir teacher asked him to re-record his singing video? My 14-year-old son has developed a strong bond with his cat, whom he takes care of daily. He feeds her, cleans her litter box, and ensures her overall well-being. As part of his choir class assignment, he was required to submit a video of himself singing. The cat was present on his lap during the recording, and he gently petted her. However, the teacher later informed him that the video needed to be resubmitted because of the cat's presence. I intervened by emailing the teacher to express my disagreement, stating that it seemed unfair for my son to be asked to re-record the video solely due to the cat. Unfortunately, my action has left my son feeling embarrassed. Edit TLDR update: daughter's friend just showed up badly beaten and bruised. I am livid, and as a father, I really want to hurt this boy. Girl is 22, boy is 24. Guess he's been beating the shit out of her for years, and she finally got the courage to leave while he was at the store. She's sittin'. A disturbing scene unfolded in my home as I received an unexpected visit from my daughter's acquaintance, who had arrived battered and injured. My anger knows no bounds, and as a father, I'm consumed by a fierce desire for retribution against this young man. Given the significant age gap, she's 22, he's 24, it appears he's been subjecting her to years of physical abuse, which has finally pushed her to the breaking point. She summoned the courage to escape while he was away at the store, and now she sits in my living room, overwhelmed by fear and grief, her clothes and face bearing the cruel marks of his brutality. As I pace back and forth in my room, my eyes well up with tears and my heart swells with a deep-seated loathing. In a desperate attempt to restrain my emotions, I hold a cherished family photograph close to my heart, a poignant reminder of the love and values that guide me. I'm grateful for this outlet to express my emotions, and I appreciate the opportunity to share my distress with those who may offer some understanding. Every year, my younger brother and I starve ourselves for 34 days like my dead brother did before he took his own life in October 2011. My older brother, 23, died by suicide via a self-inflicted gunshot wound. My family later discovered that he went without food for 34 days and my younger brother and I adhere to a grueling, self-imposed 34-day fast each year, mirroring the extreme fasting of my late brother who tragically ended his life. In October 2011, my older brother, 23, succumbed to his struggles, taking his life with a self-inflicted gunshot wound. A subsequent investigation revealed that he abstained from food for 34 days and occasionally sipped water. To honor his memory, my younger brother and I have undertaken this solemn ritual for 4 years now, persisting from September 19 to October 23, the anniversary of his passing. This unwavering commitment stems from an inexplicable sense that enduring hardship, like he did, provides a semblance of connection. No regrets. My girlfriend's work is attempting to force her to quit. Every day she is scheduled to work they tell her not to come in, and refuse to elaborate. Title: We assume they are attempting to avoid unemployment costs by firing or laying her off. This has been going on for weeks. Her title: Unwarranted absences at workplace raise concerns. My girlfriend has been facing an unusual situation at her workplace, where she's being discouraged from attending her scheduled shifts. Her employer consistently informs her that she's not needed or that there's no work for her, despite evident busyness during her previous shifts. This peculiar behavior has persisted for weeks, and I suspect it may be an attempt to sidestep employment costs. Given the small size of the company, which likely employs around 30 to 40 people, I find it unusual that they would engage in such behavior. Considering the circumstances, we are left to ponder our available options. Edit: none update none TLDR. My girlfriend is being unfairly discouraged from attending work, and we need to explore potential solutions to this problem. I have given pork to my Muslim friend by accident. Yesterday I had a Muslim friend visit me, and I had to make dinner for them. Well, I accidentally used pork. I did not realize as it was not labeled. And as a form of etiquette, I insisted on him starting to eat first. A mishap in hospitality. I recently had a Muslim friend over for a meal and, as a sign of respect, I offered to cook for them. Unfortunately, things took an unexpected turn when I discovered that I had inadvertently used pork in the dish, as it was mislabeled in my kitchen. I didn't think to question it at the time, and my guest began to eat without hesitation. As a matter of etiquette, I let them take the first bite, hoping for the best. My own meal was just about to start, but when I took my first bite, panic set in. I was horrified to realize that I had served my friend pork, and I felt a growing sense of unease. I'm still grappling with the consequences of this mistake and questioning whether or not I should confess to my friend. The uncertainty has left me feeling anxious, and I'm hoping to make things right. Edit anonymous submission to avoid potential repercussions. Update none at this time. TLDR, I accidentally served pork to a Muslim friend and am now debating whether or not to confess to them. AITA for bringing barking dogs inside in the morning. This has been a long-standing argument between my husband and I. We have 3 dogs. In the morning when we start our day, 6 a.m., we let them out into the backyard. We don't have an alley, so the backyards all touch on our blow. Am I the asshole for rushing my dogs indoors during early morning hours? My partner and I have been at odds over a long-standing issue with our 3 pets. Every morning at 6 a.m., we take our dogs out to their backyard, where their enclosures adjoin those of our neighbors. However, when our dogs occasionally bark during this early hour, I promptly call them back inside to minimize the disturbance to those living nearby. My husband is frustrated with this practice,